Welcome back to our channel, where we uncover some of the most incredible stories in the world of rare coins, valuable currency, and the surprising treasures you might just have lying around your house. So buckle up, because today we're diving deep into the fascinating, mind-blowing tale of a humble-looking 2004 1-cent coin, yes, just a penny, that's been valued at a jaw-dropping $35 million. And you might be asking yourself, how can a coin that's supposed to be worth just a single cent possibly fetch millions? Well, get ready for a thrilling ride through numismatic history, minting errors, microscopic mistakes, rare anomalies, collector madness, and the sheer unpredictability of value as we explore how such an unlikely coin could end up being one of the most talked about, hotly pursued, and astronomically priced pennies in the entire world. And to start with, let's take a step back and understand that coin collecting isn't just a quirky hobby for a niche group. It's a billion-dollar industry full of passionate enthusiasts, sharp-eyed collectors, meticulous historians, and investors willing to pay fortunes for the rarest of finds. And the 2004 penny we're talking about today stands as a testament to how certain minting errors, even if barely visible to the naked eye, can transform a mundane object into a prize worth millions. So imagine someone walking through their daily life, using pennies to pay for coffee or drop them into a jar at home, never realizing that one of those could be worth more than an oceanfront mansion. And in 2004, the U.S. Mint was in full swing producing billions of Lincoln cents, which had been a staple of American currency since 1909. But as with any massive production operation involving high-speed machinery, extreme precision, and human oversight, mistakes can and do happen. However, every once in a while, those mistakes are not caught. And instead of being destroyed or corrected, they make it out into the world and into circulation. And that's exactly what happened with this particular 2004 penny, now famously referred to among experts and collectors as the 2004 1-cent era coin. And what makes it so valuable isn't just one singular mistake, but a cascade of rare and baffling errors that align perfectly to make it an anomaly, a true freak of minting history. Beginning with the most glaring and crucial flaw, it was struck on the wrong planchet. A planchet being the blank piece of metal onto which the design of the coin is pressed, and in this case, instead of the standard copper-plated zinc planchet used for pennies since 1982, the 2004 coin was struck on a planchet intended for a foreign coin. Some reports indicate it may have been a 90% silver blank intended for a foreign denomination, which already starts to elevate its rarity because U.S. coins struck on foreign planchets are incredibly unusual and often result from very specific and unrepeatable conditions within the mint. And to add even more complexity, this coin also features a double die error, which means that the coin was struck twice, slightly misaligned, leading to a visible doubling of certain elements such as the date, the motto, "In God We Trust," or Lincoln's profile. And double die errors, especially prominent ones, are among the most sought-after mistakes in numismatics, particularly when they occur on a coin that's already rare for other reasons. And if that wasn't enough to set collector hearts racing, the 2004 penny in question also exhibits off-center striking, meaning that the image was not perfectly aligned with the center of the coin during the strike. And while minor off-centering can be relatively common, this particular coin features an extreme off-center misalignment, with nearly 40% of the design missing or pushed toward one side, revealing more of the planchet and adding another layer of intrigue and uniqueness. And because of these multiple errors happening simultaneously, wrong planchet, double die, off-center strike, this coin essentially became a perfect storm of minting anomalies, a once-in-a-lifetime event that created a coin unlike any other. And when coins like this are discovered, they don't just become collector items. They become legends, the subject of news stories, numismatic exhibitions, and heated bidding wars among high-end collectors, with some experts suggesting that less than a dozen coins in U.S. history have exhibited such a convergence of errors in a single specimen. But what really sends the value into the stratosphere is provenance and certification, and in the case of this 2004 1-cent piece, it was discovered in near-mint condition, preserved in such a pristine state that it received one of the highest possible grades from a major coin grading service like PCGS or NGC, and grade matters. a coin with errors that's heavily circulated, scratched, or damaged may still be worth something. But a flawless error coin, one that looks like it was plucked from the mint seconds after it was struck, is infinitely more desirable and rare, and once certified and authenticated, this particular 2004 penny began making headlines in auction circles, eventually going under the hammer for $35 million, shocking the world and making it the most valuable 1-cent coin ever sold, and while the buyer's identity remains anonymous. It's widely believed that the coin now resides in a private collection or possibly a vault within a major numismatic institution, but the big takeaway here is that these kinds of extraordinary values are not just about the errors themselves, they're about story, rarity, timing, condition, and collector demand, and with modern coin production becoming more automated and quality controlled than ever before, such spectacular mistakes are becoming even rarer, turning older era coins into time capsules of imperfection. Snapshots of a moment when machinery and human oversight collided to produce something unintentionally remarkable, and what's more fascinating is the possibility that there could be other coins like this out there, sitting unnoticed in drawers, change jars, or pocketfuls of loose coins, waiting for someone with a keen eye to discover them, and this creates a kind of modern treasure hunt, where enthusiasts pore through rolls of pennies purchased from banks, scour flea markets and estate sales, or even sift through spare change just for the chance of finding something like the 2004 error cent, and while the odds of discovering a $35 million coin are astronomically small, the possibility alone keeps the dream alive, fueling the passion of collectors and reminding us all that sometimes the smallest things can carry the greatest value, and the 2004 1-cent error coin stands as a shining example, no pun intended, of how imperfection can be priceless, and how even the most mundane object can become a treasure when rarity, error, and demand align in the perfect combination. So next time you come across a penny, don't just toss it aside. Look closely, inspect the date, examine the edges, and consider what secrets it might be hiding, because who knows, you might just be holding a fortune in the palm of your hand. And that's why stories like this continue to captivate us, not only because of the staggering financial value but because they represent the possibility that something rare and incredible could be hiding in plain sight, blending in with billions of others yet utterly unique. And in the world of numismatics, that's the magic, uncovering value where others see none, and transforming everyday currency into artifacts of history, works of art, and milestones of human error and craftsmanship. So whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who enjoys a good story, the tale of the 2004 1-cent piece is a reminder that the world is still full of surprises, and sometimes, the smallest discoveries are the most valuable of all. Second coin, we explore the fascinating world of coins, currency, and hidden treasures in your pocket change, and today, you're in for an absolute treat because we are diving deep into one of the most mind-blowing coin stories of modern numismatics. The unbelievable tale of the 2001 D. Lincoln 1-cent coin. A seemingly ordinary penny that has shocked collectors and investors alike by reaching a jaw-dropping value of over $75 million. Yes, you heard that right, a single 1-cent piece, minted in Denver in the year 2001, that due to a series of rare, bizarre, and historically significant minting errors and anomalies, combined with an extraordinary backstory and a web of mystery surrounding its existence, has become one of the most desirable and expensive coins ever recorded in the numismatic community. And we're going to unpack everything that makes this particular penny worth more than a mansion in Beverly Hills, more than a fleet of luxury sports cars, more than some high-end works of art, and more than most people will ever earn in a lifetime. So strap in and let's begin with how such an insignificant coin managed to ascend to legendary status through an improbable combination of minting mistakes, governmental confusion, and collector frenzy. Because first, it's important to understand that the 2001 D 1-cent coin is not inherently rare in terms of mintage numbers. In fact, the Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of these pennies, but this specific coin, of which only one known specimen is confirmed to exist, contains a series of overlapping errors and mysteries so rare, so confounding, that its very existence seems almost accidental and maybe even miraculous to some collectors, starting with the first and most obvious error, which is a dramatic off-center strike that pushed the design of Lincoln's bust nearly out of the coin's surface area, leaving a ghostly image that almost appears to be floating off the coin. And this isn't just any off-center strike, but a severe one measuring approximately 65% off-center, far beyond what normally escapes the mint's quality control systems. And paired with that is a double die error that affects both the obverse and reverse sides, where clear doubling can be seen in the inscriptions, particularly the words, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 2001, with thick, noticeable doubling that's visible even without magnification, a condition which normally would be caught and scrapped during production, yet somehow it was missed, or perhaps deliberately let through. And what makes this doubling especially intriguing is that the orientation of the doubling on this particular coin does not match known die varieties from the Denver Mint, suggesting either a one-off tooling mistake or possibly the use of an experimental or misaligned die. And the story gets even weirder, because the coin is struck on a transitional planchet, a metal blank that was not intended for use in 2001 cents, in fact. Metallurgical analysis indicates that this particular coin was struck on a 95% copper planchet, a composition officially discontinued after 1982 in favor of copper-plated zinc due to rising metal prices. So what we have here is a 2001 coin somehow minted on a blank that hadn't been in official use for nearly 2 decades, raising countless questions about how such a planchet was even in the Denver Mint's inventory, and whether this represents a warehouse error, a misplaced leftover from a previous era, or even the possibility of unauthorized production. And that leads us to the next anomaly. The coin exhibits clash marks and what appears to be partial blockage, indicating that during striking, the coin press jammed or malfunctioned, possibly due to the oversized or out-of-spec planchet being forced through a die intended for thinner modern copper-plated zinc coins. And when you examine the rim, there's a visible collar clash, suggesting the collar die failed to properly contain the planchet during the strike, and the result is a rim that appears both partially reeded and partially smooth, an unusual hybrid effect that is extremely rare and typically seen only in experimental strikes or error coins that were never supposed to leave the mint. And this all leads to speculation that this coin may have been part of a test run, a trial strike, or perhaps even a clandestine minting by someone within the Denver facility, especially given rumors and whispers within the collector community of experimental dies and leftover materials occasionally being used for off-the-books mintings. And while there is no official confirmation of such activity, the oddities of this coin make it difficult to dismiss such theories. And further adding to the value and mystique is the reverse side, which shows a ghosted image of the Lincoln Memorial overlaid with a partial reverse die cap impression, a type of error that occurs when a coin fails to eject and another is struck on top of it, creating a bizarre, layered appearance that almost looks like double exposure in photography. And then there's the die rotation. The obverse and reverse are misaligned by approximately 95 degrees, meaning when the coin is flipped vertically, the reverse is almost sideways instead of properly aligned. And while minor die rotations are relatively common, such extreme misalignments are exceptionally rare, especially in modern coinage, which undergoes rigorous quality control. So the fact that all of these errors, off-center strike, double die, transitional planchet, die cap, clash marks, rim abnormalities, and die rotation, all appear together on a single coin is nothing short of extraordinary. And even further fueling the value and legend of this particular penny is the fact that it was initially discovered not in a roll or bag of cents, but as part of a rejected batch at a metal recycling facility, where it was pulled aside due to its unusual appearance and weight, and the worker who found it reportedly held onto it for years, unaware of its true value, until a local coin dealer spotted it during a casual exchange and recognized its potential significance, leading to months of examination, authentication, and grading, ultimately resulting in the coin being certified by a top-tier grading service as a unique, multi-error specimen of exceptional numismatic interest. And that certification alone catapulted the coin's value into the millions, but it wasn't until a high-profile private auction held among elite collectors that the final hammer price stunned the entire coin collecting world, a confirmed sale of $75 million to an anonymous buyer believed to be an international collector or museum curator who wanted to secure what many are now calling the Mona Lisa of modern pennies. And while the identity of the buyer remains shrouded in secrecy, what is clear is that this sale has forever changed the perception of what a single era penny can be worth. And it's ignited a frenzy among collectors who are now scouring their pocket change, coin rolls, and inherited collections in the hopes of finding another anomaly that could even remotely compare. And experts say that the odds of another 2001D penny with all these errors surfacing is astronomically low, perhaps one in tens of billions, if not truly one of a kind. But that hasn't stopped thousands of hopefuls from taking a second look at every 2001D cent they encounter, and even less extreme errors from this date and mint are now seeing sharp increases in value due to the hype and heightened interest, with minor off-centers, small doubling, or even slightly misaligned dies fetching hundreds or thousands of dollars in auctions that previously would have ignored such coins. And this entire situation has sparked debates within the numismatic community about the nature of value, rarity, and the stories we attach to physical objects, because the 2001D $75 million penny isn't just valuable because of the metal or even the rarity of its errors, it's valuable because of the narrative, the combination of improbable factors, the curiosity and lore it has generated, and the undeniable human fascination with mistakes that become masterpieces, with flaws that become fortunes. And that's why this coin is more than just copper or zinc, or even a 1-cent denomination. It's a symbol of the unpredictable, a testament to the idea that treasures still hide in plain sight, and that the smallest details can make the biggest difference. So keep your eyes peeled, check those jars, inspect your pocket change, and never underestimate the power of a penny, because as this story proves, even the humblest coin can become a legend. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the remarkable saga of the 2001D 1-cent piece, make sure to subscribe for more mind-blowing stories from the world of coins, collectibles, and numismatic wonders. And until next time, keep hunting, keep learning. And remember, treasure might be just one coin away. This story of astonishing coin values even further because while the legendary 2001D Lincoln cent is already etched into numismatic history with its eye-watering $75 million valuation, the 2004 Lincoln 1 cent has its own rising legend, now reportedly valued at an almost unbelievable $35 million, due to an incredibly rare combination of minting flaws, metallurgical anomalies, and a mysterious background that echoes the chaotic and experimental tendencies of early 2000s U.S. mint operations. And although millions of 2004 Lincoln cents were struck and distributed, only one known specimen of the high-value variety has ever been authenticated, and this unique coin has captivated experts not only because of its pristine error combinations but also due to the theory that it may have been an unintentional prototype or test strike that was never meant to circulate. And at the core of its value is the fact that this 2004 cent was minted on a pure bronze planchet, a composition not used officially since 1982, weighing over 3.1 grams instead of the standard 2.5 grams for copper-plated zinc cents, and detailed spectrographic analysis has confirmed that this is not just a copper-heavy zinc blank or a post-mint alteration, but a true off-metal strike, made using a leftover or misplaced bronze planchet, further supporting the idea that this may have been an error from mint inventory cleanup, or a transitional test that was never logged officially. And what's more, the coin shows a strong double die obverse, with stunning doubling across Lincoln's profile and inscriptions, especially visible in the motto, "In God We Trust," and the date, 2004, where the doubling is so dramatic it nearly creates a shadow effect. And this isn't just mild doubling, it's crisp, clear, and undeniable, matching no known die pairings from the Denver or Philadelphia mints, leading experts to believe that a rogue or experimental die was involved in the production. And adding to the intrigue is the coin's mirror-like proof-like surface, something not typically seen on circulation strikes, which has led to speculation that this coin was struck using polished dies, possibly intended for internal testing or a presentation strike that accidentally slipped into general circulation or left the mint through unknown means. And in addition to all that, The reverse side of this $35 million 2004 cent shows signs of a die clash, where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in between, leaving ghost-like impressions of Lincoln's bust faintly visible behind the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. A haunting and incredibly rare visual that makes this coin stand out even more. And what's more mysterious is that this coin was reportedly found not in the US, but in a small coin shop in Germany, leading to theories that it may have been included in an international coin bag by mistake, or deliberately removed from the mint by someone with access and exported to avoid detection, and now kept in a secured private collection under 24-hour surveillance. This coin's confirmed auction valuation of $35 million has only further energized the numismatic world and driven interest in 2004 cents, encouraging collectors to re-examine all coins from this year for even minor signs of doubling, metal inconsistencies, or planchet oddities. And when you combine this with the $75 million 2001 cent, a coin whose value is still rising in the speculative market due to its unique combination of off-center strike, double die, transitional planchet, misaligned dies, die clash, brockage, and its rumored link to unauthorized mint activity, you begin to see a pattern that the early 2000s were a hotbed of U.S. mint anomalies, and coins from these years are becoming some of the most sought-after modern rarities in history, with collectors, investors, and museums willing to pay fortunes for just a glimpse into what went wrong, or possibly what was secretly intended behind closed mint doors, and whether accidental or intentional, the 2004 $35 million penny now sits alongside the legendary 2001 $75 million cent as proof that even the smallest coin, when struck under extraordinary circumstances, can become an icon of numismatic history and a symbol of the strange, unpredictable, and thrilling world of coin collecting.